Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a 2021 Toyota Tacoma Trail Edition off-road. Pretty self-explanatory I feel like, so let's just get right into the video. So some quick specs on the Trail Edition before we set off. We've got over 9 inches of ground clearance with the Trail Edition, 16-inch wheels. We have two 65mm tires wrapped around those wheels. You can see, you know, not crazy off-road tires, but they're a little bit more on the aggressive side. And this truck actually has pretty good departure and approach angles, so that'll be pretty interesting to test it all out today. And then finally, you guys are probably wondering what mode I'm in with everything to start off. So I've got everything off, traction control, stability control, all that fun stuff. You just have to hold the button down for a minute and then it'll do that. And then we're going to start off in two-wheel drive. For one of the trails, we might have to go into four-wheel high. I doubt we'll have to use four-wheel low. I'm just out here by myself, so I'm not going to do anything too crazy. But that's all set up, so let's set off. I'm just trying to give some perspective to this hill before we go up. We've got the Tacoma here, and then you guys can see the hill, and this is all that we're going up. And so you can imagine it's a pretty large hill, and this is the stuff that we will be driving over. This size comparison with the old socks and sandals. So there's just quite a bit of rocky terrain, a lot of loose rock, and so this really tests out the tires of a vehicle. So time to do this hill climb, and I just made the dumbest rookie mistake for the first take. I had the parking brake up and I forgot to put it down, and I was like, why is the truck not crawling forward? Duh. But enjoy this 1 mile an hour driving, 2 mile an hour driving. As I go up this hill, clench my butt cheeks, hope that I don't pop a tire. It's literally always my biggest concern, is just, you know, puncturing a tire here out in the middle of nowhere. Because you know what happens if you get stranded out here? You get abducted by aliens. It's Utah, people. But yeah, here in four-wheel low, it does a really good job. It's just kind of scooting up. Pretty comfortable. It's not too lurchy. Feel a little bit of that, but I mean, every vehicle when you put it in four-wheel low kind of has that lurchiness a little bit. Oh, every time I touch a rock, I'm like, is it gonna pop it? I got too much PTSD from the Escalade and the TRX. Okay. Doing pretty good so far. And this up here gets a little bit more slippery. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. This is pretty surprising. Gotta floor it a little bit here, because this is where we start to get a little bit of loss of traction. Pre-collision sensor unavailable. Clean sensor. Thanks. Don't think we need to worry about that right here too much. Oof. And then this last part, the Tacoma Trail doesn't have any like thing that shows this, but this last part's like 17-18 degrees, so it's not incredibly steep by any stretch of the imagination, but you have like this steep part, and then right after you've got some rocks, so it's not terrifying. Something I do want to mention is the Tacoma hood is kind of bulbous. It's kind of hard to see over the hood. So we are going to go down this little thing. And again, I feel like this would represent having to go through a little obstacle if you're on a camping adventure. And I went too far. I kind of have this thing memorized now. I've gone through this with so many vehicles. Just want to make sure I do it right, because if I go down this wrong, Ooh, wow. Ah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so a quick side note about that departure angle. It's pretty good until you take into account the receiver hitch and, wait for it, the exhaust tip. You guys probably heard in the video the little scraping sound. It's because it barely scraped the receiver hitch and a little bit on the bottom of the exhaust tip. Nothing's actually damaged, just cosmetic. And then you guys can see we're flexing here on the movement. And, well, let me tell you, it's pretty interesting, some of the things I'm seeing here on the Trail Edition now that I am up on this. I wanted to get on this to really see what it looks like up close. So yeah, I'm noticing the air dam is potentially going to become an issue once I actually go through the full movement right there. Again, over 9 inches of ground clearance, but if that air dam was gone, that would actually probably help out a little bit, because you guys can see the difference between that and the bumper and all that fun stuff. And then the other thing that's pretty cool to see is the flex here in the back. Sorry about my shadow, but yeah, that looks pretty cool. But wish me luck, folks. So let's get over the last Herculean task here with the Tacoma Trail. So if you guys are wondering, I'm going to be doing this 2-pedal style. Worried about that breakover angle a little bit. Ooh, that, oh my goodness, that was a little bit sketchy. I'll see if it looks sketchy on the camera, but yeah, I almost fell, well, I'll go see what it looks like on the camera, but it feels like I almost just fell back. But before I go check that and see how sketchy that actually was, and maybe it wasn't anything at all, I'm just a little scaredy cat. Tacoma Trail Edition, to sum things up, relatively comfortable at higher speeds, especially considering this is an entry-level off-road truck. I think it does a pretty good job. Tire grip is pretty good. I would recommend getting more aggressive tires if you're going to be serious about your camping trips and off-roading and all that adventuring you're going to be doing with the Trail Edition. The stock tires are good, but I'd recommend getting something a little bit more aggressive if you're going to be, you know, going out all the time. And then aside from that, did a pretty good job crawling. Kind of discovered that the departure angle is not all that great with the receiver hitch and the exhaust tip. If you kind of did some things with that, that would help out quite a bit. And then the other thing about this package that I need to emphasize is it doesn't have skid plates. I checked that before I went up that rock thing just in case. And yeah, it doesn't have skid plates, so that's another thing about this package, is that since you don't have skid plates, you got to keep that in mind, that you probably want to add those on after the fact, or, you know, maybe get a different package with the Tacoma that has skid plates. You know, obviously like the TRD Pro for sure, right? That has skid plates, for example. But overall, pretty good. So we got to give it a final score. And what I'd have to say here with the Tacoma Trail Edition is compared to all the other vehicles I've taken off-road, considering the price point and all that, I'm actually going to give it a pretty high score, an 8.5 out of 10. I feel like considering the price point and everything, it's really good. There are some things that I wish that this had, of like skid plates, for example. But other than that, I mean, 41 grand for the capability that this has, I think it's pretty solid. I just looked at the footage, and the only thing that happened is the rear wheel popped up. So yeah, a little bit embarrassed that I freaked out so much, but like it felt sketchy, okay? But anyways, I'll see you guys.